celestial burden Naira. Zephyrine stood at the edge of the crystal cliffs, her purple skin shimmering under the light of the dying sun that had nourished her people for millennia. The time approaches, she whispered to herself, watching as the fractured light scattered across the frozen plains below. For 27 cycles, she had prepared for this moment, to become the luminary sacrifice, the one whose essence would feed the sacred nexus and sustain her people for another 1,000 years. It is an honor, the elders always told her. Your spirit will live forever in the cosmos. But lately, doubts flickered within her luminescent heart like dying stars. The transport vessel crashed during the third moonrise, tearing through Astral's atmosphere in a blaze that rivaled the auroras dancing above the crystal sanctuary. An omen, whispered the villagers as Nira approached the wreckage alone, her translucent robes billowing around her slender form. Inside the twisted metal, she found him, unconscious but alive. A human, she realized, having only seen such beings in the ancient archives. So far from home, Dr. Ren Calloway awakened to violet eyes studying him with innocent curiosity. "Am I dead?" he mumbled, reaching toward the glowing figure before him. "Are you an angel?" Naira tilted her head, star-shaped pupils dilating with interest. "I am Naira of the Australian people," she replied, her voice melodic and soft. "You've crashed on our world during a most sacred time. The expedition." Ren gasped. Memories flooding back. There was a cosmic storm. The evacuation alarms, they left me behind. Pain etched across his features, not just physical but something deeper. "Your vessel cannot be repaired," Naira informed him gently, "but you may shelter with us until the convergence passes." "Convergence?" he asked, allowing her to help him stand. "When our sun and the 3 moons align," she explained, guiding him from the wreckage. "The moment when I fulfill my purpose." Ren studied her as they walked toward the crystalline spires of the Australian settlement. "Your purpose?" A sad smile graced her lips. "I am the luminary born to surrender my essence to the sacred nexus." She spoke as if discussing something as mundane as the weather. "My sacrifice will sustain my people for the next 1,000 years. Horror dawned on Ren's face. "They're going to kill you?" "Not kill," Naira corrected. "Transform me into pure energy." She gestured toward the massive structure at the center of the city, a towering obelisk pulsing with blue-white energy. The ancients built the nexus to harness the power of willing sacrifices. Her voice carried no fear, only acceptance. "Without it, our world dies. That's barbaric," Ren argued, stumbling slightly from his injuries. "There must be another way." Nira's expression remained serene. "This is our way," she said simply. "I've known my fate since birth." The Australian elders welcomed Ren with cautious hospitality, assigning him quarters near Naira's chambers. "The human must not interfere with the convergence rituals," Elder Talus warned, his ancient eyes narrowing. "The luminary must remain pure of outside influence." "I understand my responsibilities," Naira assured him with a respectful bow later, as she showed Ren to his room. He studied her with newfound understanding. "Your entire life has been leading to your death." "My transformation," she corrected gently. "My gift to my people." Ren shook his head in disbelief. "Where I come from, we fight against fate, and where has that led your people?" Naira asked with genuine curiosity. Ren fell silent, thinking of the wars, pollution, and suffering that had driven humanity to the stars. "Not always to better places," he admitted quietly that night. As Naira performed her evening meditation beneath the triple moons, she found her thoughts drifting to the human with sad eyes and defiant words. Perhaps she whispered to the stars, "There are questions worth asking before the end." Forbidden connection dawn broke over Astral's crystalline landscape, bathing the world in fractured rainbow light. "I want to show you something," Naira said, appearing at Ren's doorway before he had fully awakened, "something few outsiders have witnessed." Ren followed her through winding paths of luminescent stone, past curious Australians who whispered as they passed. "They rarely see their luminary with strangers," Nira explained, her purple skin glowing more intensely in the morning light. "But you are the first human to walk among us in 7 generations." "I'm honored," Ren replied, though his eyes remained fixed on her, rather than the spectacular architecture surrounding them. "Though I'd prefer circumstances that didn't involve your sacrifice." Naira's expression flickered with something unreadable. "Here we are," she announced, stopping before what appeared to be a solid wall of crystal. With gentle movements, she placed her palm against the surface, which rippled like water at her touch. "The memory pools," she explained as the wall dissolved, revealing a vast chamber filled with swirling, luminous liquid, the collected wisdom of every luminary who came before me inside. The pools cast ethereal light across their faces, illuminating Ren's awestruck expression. "It's beautiful," he whispered. "Each luminary leaves their memories here before transformation," Naira explained. Kneeling beside one of the pools, their knowledge remains even as their essence feeds the nexus. She dipped her fingertips into the nearest pool, causing ripples of light to spread outward. "Would you like to see?" Before Ren could answer, Naira took his hand and guided his fingers to touch the luminous liquid alongside hers. Instantly, visions flooded his mind, stars being born, civilizations rising and falling, the history of astral unfolding across millennia. "This is incredible," he gasped, experiencing the memories as if they were his own. "Your people have witnessed so much." When they withdrew their hands, Ren noticed tears in Naira's star-shaped eyes. "What troubles you?" he asked gently. "I always believed my purpose was clear," she confessed, her voice barely audible, "but the memories show variations in the ritual across time." She looked at him with newfound uncertainty. "What if there are alternatives we've forgotten?" "Let me help you look," Ren offered, his scientific curiosity awakening alongside something deeper, a desire to save this remarkable being before him. They spent days searching through the memory pools, Ren documenting patterns and anomalies while Naira translated ancient Australian concepts. "The Nexus technology predates your people," Ren observed on their 5th day of research. "These symbols match ruins we've discovered across multiple star systems." "The Forerunners." Naira nodded. "They seeded life throughout this galaxy before vanishing." Her fingers traced symbols on an ancient tablet they'd recovered. "My people believe they ascended to a higher plane of existence. Or perhaps they found a different solution," Ren suggested, his hand inadvertently brushing against hers. The contact sent unexpected warmth through both of them, causing Naira to pull away suddenly. "I should prepare for evening meditation," she said, rising quickly. "Elder Talus will be looking for me." Ren watched her leave, troubled by the growing feelings he couldn't suppress. "I can't let her die," he whispered to the empty chamber that evening. Elder Talus confronted Naira in the sacred garden. "You spend too much time with the outsider," he warned, ancient eyes narrowing. "Your thoughts must remain focused on the convergence. I am simply showing him our ways," Naira replied, keeping her expression neutral despite the rebellion stirring within. "I sense disturbance in your aura." Talus observed. "Remember your duty, child." His tone softened slightly. "All luminaries experience doubt in their final days. It is natural to fear transformation." "I do not fear it," Naira responded honestly. "I question whether it remains necessary." Talus's expression hardened. "Such thoughts are dangerous," he warned. "The human must be restricted from your presence until after the ceremony." Later that night, Naira slipped from her chambers and found Ren still working in the memory chamber. "They want to separate us," she told him, her voice trembling with emotion she'd never before experienced. "I've found something," Ren responded, pointing to patterns in the ancient data. The original design had multiple power sources. His eyes met hers with desperate hope. The sacrifice was never the only option, just the easiest one for the Forerunners to implement with available materials. Naira stared at his findings, her world shifting beneath her. "Are you certain?" "I need more time to verify," Ren admitted. "But yes, I believe so." Without warning, Naira moved closer, her luminescent form inches from his. "If I am not to be sacrificed," she whispered, "then perhaps I am free to experience what other Australians take for granted." "What do you mean?" Ren asked, though his accelerating heartbeat suggested he already knew connection. She answered simply, reaching out to touch his face with gentle fingertips. "In all the memories I've witnessed, no luminary has ever known love." The word hung between them like a forbidden star. "Naira." Ren breathed her name like a prayer. "I can't let you sacrifice yourself." "Perhaps," she replied, leaning closer until their foreheads touched, sending sparks of energy between them. You've given me something worth living for." As their lips met, the memory pools around them pulsed with light that hadn't been seen in 1,000 years. A warning or a blessing, neither could tell which. Shattered traditions. The Convergence Festival began with the first light of dawn, crystalline bells echoing across the frozen valleys as Australians gathered in ceremonial attire. 7 days remain. Elder Talus announced to the assembled crowds, 7 days until our beloved luminary ensures our survival for another millennium. Naira stood on the sacred platform, her purple skin adorned with ritual markings of silver and blue, her face a mask of serenity that betrayed nothing of the turmoil within. "I stand ready to serve," she proclaimed, the traditional words falling from her lips while her heart whispered rebellion. From the edges of the gathering, Ren watched with growing determination, his research notes clutched tightly in his hand. "This ends now," he promised himself. The celebration continued into the evening, with dancers performing the ancient stories of Astral's creation beneath the triple moons. "You should not be here," Naira whispered when she found Ren waiting in the shadows behind the Temple of Stars. "I've confirmed my theory," he told her urgently, pulling her into a hidden alcove where crystal formations obscured them from view. The Nexus was designed with 3 power sources, not just the sacrifice. His fingers traced diagrams on the tablet he carried. The Forerunners used crystalline matrices similar to your memory pools, stellar energy harvested directly from your sun, and yes, originally, living essence. Hope flickered in Naira's star-shaped eyes. "Can it be modified?" "With your knowledge of Australian technology and my understanding of the Forerunner systems." Shorsta nodded. "But we need access to the Nexus core." "Impossible," Naira sighed. "Only the High Elder enters the core chamber before the ceremony. Then we need to convince the elders." Ren insisted. Naira's luminescent skin dimmed slightly. "They will never listen to an outsider questioning 1,000-year traditions." She touched his face gently. "And if they discover what has grown between us, they will accelerate the ceremony." "What has grown between us?" Ren asked, his voice dropping to a whisper as he covered her hand with his own in answer. Naira drew him closer, her lips meeting his with greater confidence than their first tentative kiss. "This," she murmured against his mouth. Something no luminary was meant to feel. The crystal walls around them pulsed with responding light, reflecting their intertwined shadows across the ancient stone. "I will not lose you," Ren vowed between kisses. "Not to tradition, not to duty. There may be another way," Naira said suddenly, pulling back with widening eyes. "The keeper of records, Sira Valen. She has always questioned the old ways." A plan formed in her mind. She could grant us access to the archives beneath the temple. That night, while the festival continued above, Naira led Ren through hidden passages beneath the temple complex. "Sira," she called softly as they entered a vast chamber lined with crystalline data storage. "I seek your wisdom." An elderly Australian emerged from between towering crystal columns. Her once purple skin faded to pale lavender with age. "The luminary visits with the outsider," she observed, ancient eyes sharp with intelligence. "Interesting times indeed. We've discovered something about the Nexus," Naira began, "something that could change everything." Sira listened intently as Ren explained his findings, occasionally nodding or asking piercing questions that revealed her own substantial knowledge. "I have suspected as much for centuries," she finally admitted, "but tradition is a powerful force, and those who benefit from power rarely welcome change. Will you help us?" Naira pleaded. "The question," Sira replied, fixing her gaze on Naira, "is whether you are willing to shatter 1,000 years of tradition for the chance, merely the chance of something better." Her ancient eyes shifted to Ren and for him. "I was born to serve my people," Naira answered, her voice strengthening with each word. "If there is a way to serve them without dying, is that not preferable?" Sira smiled, revealing the wisdom of ages. "Then follow me deep within the archives." Sira revealed plans of the Nexus that had been hidden for generations. The original blueprints, she explained, preserved by keepers who questioned the necessity of sacrifice. Ren studied them with growing excitement. "This confirms everything," he exclaimed. "We can adapt the secondary chambers to channel energy directly from the memory pools and solar collectors." "It will require precise timing," Sira warned. And you will need this. She handed Nira an ancient key crystal, the access code to the core chamber. Their planning continued until dawn's light filtered through crystal skylights. We must return before you're missed, Ren urged. Reluctant to leave the safety of the archives as they emerged, they found Elder Talus waiting with temple guards. The luminary has been contaminated by outside influence, he announced coldly. The ceremony must be moved forward. Guards seized Ren while others surrounded Nira. Take the human to the holding cells. Talus ordered, the luminary will undergo purification immediately. No, Nira cried out, her composure finally breaking. There is another way. Silence, Talus commanded. Your mind has been poisoned by human deception. His ancient eyes revealed genuine concern beneath his anger. This happens sometimes. Child, the fear of transformation causes even the most devoted to seek escape. It's not fear, Nira insisted as they led her away. It's truth. Ren struggled against his captors. The Nexus can be modified, he shouted. You don't have to sacrifice her. Talus watched impassively as Ren was dragged away. Prepare the sacred chamber, he instructed the remaining guards. The convergence will occur tomorrow at first light. In her purification chamber, Nira sat motionless in ritual meditation, appearing compliant while her mind raced through possibilities. I cannot abandon my people, she thought, but neither can I abandon the truth, or him. In his cell, Ren worked frantically to adapt his plans. Knowing time was running out, there must be a way, he muttered, using a shard of crystal to scratch calculations into the floor. Neither knew that Sira moved silently through the temple complex, gathering those few Australians who had long questioned the sacrifice. The time for whispers has ended, she told them. Tomorrow, we either change our future or lose it forever. As night fell across Astral for what might be Nira's final sunset, she pressed her palm against the crystal wall of her chamber, sending a pulse of energy that she hoped would reach the one person who had shown her what it meant to truly live. The final offering, dawn broke with solemn ceremony as Nira was led through the crystal corridors toward the Nexus core. Her purple form draped in ceremonial white walk with honor luminary, the procession chanted, unaware of the turmoil beneath her serene expression. In the holding cells below, Ren worked desperately at the lock mechanism when the door suddenly slid open, revealing Sira and a small group of Australians. Quickly, she whispered, the ceremony has begun. Above, Elder Talus guided Nira to the massive doors of the Nexus core. For 1,000 years, we have survived through sacrifice, he intoned. Today, you join the eternal dance of stars. The doors swung open, revealing the pulsing heart of Australian civilization, a swirling vortex of energy suspended between ancient pillars. Step forward, luminary, and fulfill your destiny. Nira hesitated, her eyes scanning the chamber. I wish to speak, she announced, her voice echoing against crystal walls. The time for words has passed. Talus replied firmly. Let her speak, came Sira's voice as she entered with her followers. Ren at their side. The luminary deserves final words. Talus's expression darkened. This is sacrilege. No, Nira countered. This is evolution. She turned to address the gathered Australians. The Nexus was designed with multiple power sources. She explained. The sacrifice was never the only way. Chaos erupted as Ren broke free, rushing toward the control mechanisms flanking the core. The memory pools can be connected directly, he shouted, fingers working frantically across ancient panels, along with solar collectors. Stop him, Talus commanded. But Sira's followers blocked the guards. Look, gasped an Australian as the Nexus core began to change color. Responding to Ren's adjustments, Nira seized the moment of distraction to join Ren at the controls. Together, she urged. Placing her hands alongside his blinding flash engulfed the chamber as the Nexus reconfigured. Drawing power from new sources, it's working, Ren exclaimed, then everything went wrong. The core destabilized, energy arcing dangerously across the chamber. The transition is incomplete. Ren realized with horror. It needs a catalyst. It needs me. Nira understood instantly, not as a sacrifice, but as a conduit. Before Ren could stop her, Nira stepped forward. Hands outstretched toward the writhing energy. I choose this, she whispered, looking back at him one last time. For my people, And for you? She stepped into the light. Beyond the veil. 3 days of darkness fell upon Astral as the Nexus recalibrated. Crystals throughout the planet pulsing with erratic energy. We have destroyed ourselves. Elder Talus lamented while Ren worked tirelessly at the control panels. Refusing to accept defeat or loss, something's happening, Syra announced on the 4th morning. Pointing to the core where the energy had stabilized into a perfect sphere, the Nexus Lives light exploded outward, filling the chamber with blinding brilliance that gradually coalesced into a familiar shape. Nira, Ren whispered in disbelief. She stood before them, transformed, her purple skin now translucent like living crystal. Starlight flowing beneath the surface. I am here, she confirmed, her voice resonating with new power. And I am more. Australians fell to their knees in awe as she explained. I have become the living connection between the Nexus and our world. Her eyes found Ren's, not consumed by the sacrifice, but elevated by choice. The convergence is complete, Elder Talus acknowledged, bowing his head but changed forever. In the days that followed, Nira showed her people how to maintain the new system. No more sacrifices, she declared. We will sustain ourselves through knowledge and balance. Will you stay? She asked Ren privately as they stood beneath the triple moons, her crystalline fingers intertwined with his. My expedition believes me dead. He replied softly, and I've found something here worth living for. Their kiss illuminated the crystal forests around them, a union of worlds once thought incompatible. We will build something new, Nira promised, beyond tradition, beyond sacrifice. Beyond the stars themselves, Ren agreed, holding her close as Astral's renewed sun rose on their shared future.